right, well, welcome back to the channel. And today's mortgage tip is setting proper expectations. This is a mortgage tip, but this is also a life tip. So stay tuned so you can listen and you'll understand what I'm meaning. It's important to understand that buyers and borrowers don't know the process. They don't know what they can do to help or hurt their ability of home ownership. They're looking for a trusted professional that will take their hand and walk them through the process step by step. Now, the first thing you should consider is to never provide a borrower with several steps in advance. Most people only remember the last thing you tell them. If you tell them the next three steps of the process, they will be confused. It's important that once one step is completed, then and only then walk them through the next step. I would verbally relay this message, then send a detailed email on this step. This helps them have something to fall back on if they get confused or forget what they're supposed to do. Remember, they have jobs, kids, extra activities. They have a life. Though owning a home is extremely important to them, there are things that are pulling them in every direction. By sending this email, they will have something in writing to fall back on if they don't remember what is needed for their loan. Always be the trusted advisor. By educating, you not only help them understand the process, but you are providing value. When people don't understand something, most people won't say anything. They don't want to look uneducated. They'll feel as if they put their guard down, that you'll take advantage of them. Now, I'm not saying everyone is this way, but your approach should be one of caution. By providing them all of the details, the buyer or borrower will appreciate it. You must also explain in layman terms so anyone can understand. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, practice it. Work on it different ways. Always be ahead of their questions with knowledge. This way, they don't feel uncomfortable asking those additional questions. Okay. And if they do feel uncomfortable asking those additional questions, you have already provided them with the knowledge. Make sure you are always the captain of the ship. Sometimes, because we don't provide the exact expectation, buyers and borrowers simply just don't know. Example would be moving large sums of money from different accounts for their down payment and closing costs. By explaining moving money or sourcing money around is a bad thing, while taking an application in the assets section, they will understand why they shouldn't do this. We cannot control our buyers or borrowers, but we can control the level of expectations that we set for them. By explaining that we will need to source every penny of these moving assets, they will more than likely not do it. If we explain that it could be a pain for them providing all bank statements, so we can show how the money flowed from one account to the next, they will be less inclined to do these things during the loan process. Now, I want to share a story I read that will explain how people see these things, okay, and how you see things. There once was a husband and a wife. They were taking their three children to Disney World for a week. When they checked into the hotel and started unpacking, the husband noticed that the wife packed a bathing suit and a book. Now, the husband knew that they were going to be pulled in every direction with the children. So he asked his wife why she packed a bathing suit and a book. She said that they were on vacation and she wanted to take some time and enjoy the pool and read a book. She wanted to decompress. When she explained this to her husband, he laughed. He said, "Honey, I don't know what you're talking about, but we're going to be driven crazy. We're going to Disney World every day with the kids. They will want our full attention and are about to drive us nuts. There will be no time for you to decompress. We are about to be slammed with making them happy, and we definitely are going to be exhausted every night when we get back to the room." After the husband said these words, her entire mood changed. The rest of the trip was arguments, anger, and they both were disappointed in each other. Now, after reflection, the woman understood that this was actually her fault. She, in fact, was the author of the book that I read, and this was actually the wife's story. Had she had a conversation with her husband before the trip and set her expectation with him, things could have gone way differently. Had she asked him if he would watch the kids one morning while she got a few hours in with her book and at a poolside, her husband may have accommodated this request. By setting the proper expectations, he could have given her what she wanted. He could have taken the kids to breakfast, gone to Disney World, watched a show to buy time, and had a meeting place for the wife so that she could have relaxed and got in what she wanted. She would have been grateful. She would have felt that even with everything going on, he had her back. She would have been loving towards him because he understood how she was feeling and he gave her what she wanted. Instead, both ended up very disappointed, frustrated, and mad with each other. And to say the least, the trip was not a huge success. They had attitude towards each other. They had short tempers with the kids. They barely talked to each other. It was a week, but in the book, she described it seemed like a year. He was thinking, what is wrong with her? This is the kids' trip and she's being selfish. Poolside with the book, what a joke. She was thinking, I watch the kids all the time. All I wanted was a few hours to decompress. He is selfish for not giving me what I want. When we get home, that's it. He's stepping up and watching the kids more. You see, this happens in our everyday lives. We are often living at the beat of our own drum. You have an expectation of how the loan process will go in your mind, and the buyer or borrower has different expectations in their mind. The lesson is to always communicate. Ask your buyer or borrower if they have travel plans during the loan process. Ask your buyer or borrower what you can do to make this process go smoothly. Ask your buyer or borrower when is the best time to reach out during the work week so you aren't bothering them at their job. By asking these questions, you erase your power of assumption and actually have a glimpse into your buyer or borrower's mind. They will share their thoughts with you. Then, and only then, can you know what the actual want or expectation is. If you assume to know the answer, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be wrong. I would also suggest that you incorporate this technique in your daily lives with everyone you come across. You're going to save yourself a ton of frustration and disappointment. The next time you go somewhere with someone, ask them what they expect to do or get out of this outing. Ask your children next time you go anywhere, what are the top 3 things they want or expect to happen? If we ask right questions, we go into their minds to understand their expectations. I wish I read this book 20 years ago. Would have saved me a lot of frustration. I promise you that. Well, my friends, that's the tip of the day. I hope this message finds you well. And as always, stay hungry.